and welcome to Next Up, a new kind of talk show. And we have a very special guest from a very special alliance. Who do we have today, Amanda?
We have Miss Lora Gilbert, who is a proud member of the Urban School Food Alliance.
And let's go ahead and welcome her out.
Lora.
Lora, come on out.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
How are you doing?
Good.
Lora.
Go ahead and take some seats.
Okay, thank you.
So Lora, tell us about yourself.
No, I'm
Way to be awkward.
Well, I'm a dietitian, and so I started out in a USDA program for the elderly, and I quickly realized that I was definitely going to stay a community dietitian. And so I applied for a job with a vendor who served the schools and got really caught up in the school food service programs. And I wanted to be a director. So every time I went to a conference, I just fell in love with all the directors, and I really wanted to be a director. So I came.
So that's so interesting because I don't often hear people starting off on the industry side and then becoming a director. It's always opposite. Like that's what I did. I went from operations to industry.
Right.
That's so cool. So tell me about the Urban School Food Alliance.
So we have large districts, and we all came together, and we had some common things that we wanted to do as a group, and we found pretty quickly that we had to discuss things and come up with the one-liners, and all be talking off of the same page. And when we talked, people listened because we had millions and millions of meals, and we had thousands of schools, and so when we came up with our crazy ideas, people were really willing to listen to them. And that's when we got serious and we said, what is it that we really want to do? And I think our first project was the Compostable Plate.
Okay. What was that like? How did that go?
For a long time, I had been approached by people wanting to get rid of styrofoam. And I kept thinking, our budget doesn't allow for anything else besides styrofoam. It's so inexpensive. And the compostable plates were very expensive. But as a group, we came together, we developed the specifications, and this is a group that has the science behind it. So people were telling us what ingredients to look for in the compostable plates. And so when you have that product specification developed with experts, it wasn't easy to come up with a vendor, but we finally found one in the United States who would make that particular product.
for your specific needs.
Yes.
Incredible.
I mean, it looks like a plate, and it has a little place for the milk, so it's easy to carry. So it is developed just for us.
Wow. So can other districts use it even if they're not part of the Urban School
yes.
Food Alliance?
Yes,
So you're saying Amanda
absolutely.
could actually buy
Yes.
these? Okay.
Absolutely.
That would be fantastic. Fun fact, Marlon, do you know that styrofoam is recyclable?
No.
It's true, but it actually costs more to recycle styrofoam than it just to make a new one. So that's why people have been throwing their styrofoam away in trash cans for so long, because you're right, it is so completely affordable. But as we see with our climate and with the world today, we really need to have a forward focus on doing what's best for the planet.
Many Urban School Food Alliance member districts already have recycling programs set in place. And these members, they go the extra mile to recycle not only trays, but paper, cardboard, number 10 cans, milk cartons, juice cartons, and more. USFA also has a member district that participates in a city sanitation program and recycles rigid plastic, aluminum, cardboard, paper, milk cartons, and has implemented compost programs at 800 schools. Food scraps and food soil paper are brought to regional facilities where the material is turned into compost, a natural soil fertilizer, or renewable energy. As Alliance members move forward in their sustainability journey, they are determined to push their communities towards healthier, more environmentally friendly practices as well. So Lora, you were one of the founding members of the Urban School Food Alliance. What was that like?
Oh, I didn't know that.
So we were all at a conference, And one of my friends in the New York district called a meeting and wanted to talk about what we could do as a group. And I thought it was a great idea because I just like getting together with other people that have a similar job to mine. And so it's always wonderful to get invited to a meeting like that and hear their ideas. And it took about 6 months, and we were meeting regularly and really coming up with some ideas that maybe we could improve what we serve to children.
So you're saying roughly 6 months or so you guys united?
That's right. We wanted to talk to each other.
Wow, that is crazy because I know
You, Orange County, New York, who else?
Miami, LA, and Chicago.
All across our great country. This is
Right.
incredible.
Right.
And how's it been working with the other districts? I'm sure you guys are a little bit competitive. Like I know you guys help each other out, but I'm sure there's some friendly competition
never
there.
competitive.
Yeah, right. Right.
I think what's really nice is that when we come together as a professional organization, we share some common factors in that there were large districts. But I think we're all lunch ladies at heart. And so what we really want to do is come up with the next best thing. Students don't always know how to ask for things. And so we really kind of brainstorm and say, what if we did this? And it's always fun.
Now, Laura just used the term lunch lady, which is a term that's commonly accepted by most within the country, but let's enhance that a bit. I think the title of School Nutrition Professionals, or SNP, is a much better fit, and I bet Laura would agree with me. These SNPs are receiving development throughout the year. They hold multiple certifications and degrees, most more than me. And let's not forget, they answered the call of the pandemic when so many others didn't or couldn't. And on top of that, they run the largest restaurant chains in their communities. To me, they sound like school nutrition professionals.
You guys are really setting the trends. I mean, I knew 10 years ago when I first got a sneak peek at OCPS on a side field trip, you guys had a food truck. I mean, that was revolutionary. And now you see this trend across the country. And that's the type of forward thinking that happens with USFA schools.
And we took baby steps to get there. So, in the beginning, when we wanted a food truck, we took a surplus bus, that they just gave us. And then we renovated it into a serving line and took it out to the parks and the libraries and things like that where they didn't have a kitchen. And we could take the food fresh from our kitchens and serve kids. It was such a hit that when I asked for a food truck, it was after a hurricane and the board realized that we could serve kids even when school wasn't in session. I had no problems getting the food truck.
That's amazing. I know one of the things I love most about you guys is that you work diligently to serve the community. And that's a great example of doing that right there.
Yes, we're definitely a part of the community.
Yeah, that's awesome. So as far as resources that you guys have so many ideas, you're really innovative. Do you guys have resources available for smaller districts that are out there?
I think the best thing that we can do is to put the ideas that we have for children and come up with the specifications for something that maybe is not available to every school district. And then with our large buying power, we can really leverage in terms of the price, so we can bring the price down, or actually industry kind of moves to where we're writing our specifications. So it may not be any product that exists right now, but it could be.
Okay.
So talk about some of the products now. I know you guys have done something really cool with some protein products.
Right, so we do have chicken, and I have to say I grew up on a chicken farm.
You did?
Yeah, and so when they started talking about this, I thought, oh, that's interesting, and I
Full
didn't.
circle.
Yeah, I really didn't know about this, the certified responsible use of antibiotics, and I had to call my parents and say, did we use antibiotics? No, we just, so, if a chicken got sick, we separated it and treated it. But so I went to chicken school. And I learned all about antibiotics and how they do pass through the bloodstream into adults and children. And so I was thinking automatically, well, yes, I want the next best product for our kids.
Yeah.
And that's where we have finally, baby steps again, come up with products that are never ever have antibiotics. So it's incredible what can happen when the group comes together.
That's amazing. I mean, for you guys to all stand up as a united group and say, this is what we want as leaders in the industry, and with the buying power behind it, because whenever we see something new in industry, they say, what are your protections? How many are you going to buy? Is this worth our time? And you guys together are coming and saying in one voice, this is what we want, and they're rising to the occasion.
Right, and you know, industry does want to talk to us, and I think it's wonderful that we have the backing of scientists. So we have great programs where people will come and talk to us about artificial flavors and imitation flavors, dyes and colors and things like that, that we're really moving to kind of a clean label. And you don't get there overnight, and industry's not going to take a step to do something like that if they don't know that there's a market for it.
And you guys have a pretty large market. But then your market and your research then filters down to the little guys like me.
Right.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I hope it is. That's my sincere hope.
So maybe in 5 years, I'm going to be seeing that chicken. I hope it's not 5 years, folks. We'd like it tomorrow, but it might take a little bit of time to filter down through the supply system.
Right.
But I will thank you in advance for your work.
Okay, thank you.
We're obsessed with each other. Do you know this?
You're obsessed with her.
I am very obsessed with her.
So being a member of the Urban School Food Alliance, are there certain things that you commit yourself to, like pouring into others or speaking at conferences? What do you guys do as members?
Well, I think we're all pretty focused on making sure that when we come together, we're looking at best practices. We really kind of have this, you're available to talk, and so you're available to share ideas. And sometimes we come up with things that are better than what I came to the table with. So it's good to bounce things off of people. You know, once in a while we'll get called by the media, and I can check with my counterparts and seeing, you know, are they touched off? Or for instance, we'll get a notice that something is coming out in the media, so we can get prepared to talk to that. So it's nice to know ahead of time, and also it's nice to hear what the other directors are saying to the media, because you know, then I have a clue how to answer the phone.
Yes, and the power of words we talked about on our previous Next Up. It's very important that we have the same messaging and that we're all supporting each other with the same vision and mission.
Right.
Amazing.
So are you guys always looking for more districts to join? Is there a certain requirement for districts to be part of the Urban School Food Alliance? What's that like?
So the districts are invited to join, and it usually is a district that is in good standing, and you know, that they're willing to put in the time and come to the meetings, share their ideas. We do look for large districts, but you know, it doesn't have to be huge.
Yeah. How often do you guys meet?
Once a month.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But it must be nice just for someone to feel like, I feel you.
Yes, let me tell you. And when we meet in person, it's so nice to share the war stories. And you know,
War? I thought that was just peace.
Yeah. So I've always heard that you never complain down. So it's very hard to complain in my own office.
I see.
And so I have to be very positive and, you know, come up with a great spin on just about anything. But when I'm with my peers, I can commiserate and say, wasn't that just awful?
Great. We can talk after the show.
Well, you have war stories too?
Just a few.
Just a few? Okay.
So we met with Dr. Katie Wilson. Like, what a powerhouse.
Yes.
Now she is a newer member to your group. Tell us, were you involved in the acquisition of such a legend?
Well, kind of on the periphery, but I'm telling you that she brings a wealth of knowledge to the table. And the other thing is she has contacts. So when we get together and really develop our professional opinion, she has the contacts for us to go out and talk to people. And again, we're all on the same page, so we know what we're asking for. And she gives us kind of a perspective of what might be and some of the easy things that we can go for, as well as kind of preparing us for the long road too. So yeah, great connections, great leadership.
Yeah, it's funny. I always tease her and tell her that she's the most interesting person I've ever met, because she has some really cool stories. She's done some really cool things. I love Dr. Wilson. She's awesome.
Yes.
And she's devoted her life to helping children and feeding children, which is what you do, which is what we all do at school nutrition professionals across the country. So it's wonderful to know not only that we have such incredible cheerleaders such as yourself that are innovating all these new products that we'll see at some point in the future, but that you're headed by this incredible individual with a great staff.
You know, I think one of the things I've always said about being in Orlando is that you get the best of the best. So when the chefs and the great supervisors and the great staff that are out at the parks get tired of nights, weekends, and holidays, they come to us.
Oh, wow.
And so while you're congratulating me on having these wonderful ideas, they're not mine. No, they're coming from my staff. So they're the innovative ones. And you know, when they're right there with kids and they hear them talking, they're going to come up with ideas that I never dreamed of.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have a menu team that actually develops recipes. And so it's amazing some of the things that we do from scratch. We have a picadillo recipe that was actually developed by a manager. So we came out with the usual, and the kids said, oh, there's too many onions. And so the manager put more cucumbers in it. And that's our picadillo today.
Hey,
So
you listen to the children. They will tell you what they like, but more importantly, what they do not like.
Yes, they will. Yes, they
that's
will.
so true.
And I love to hear how innovative you guys are, like listening to the children, changing recipes, because so many people out there think school meals are just, you know, a hot dog and that's it, or
Yeah, they haven't been to school for a while, so I would say they need to get back in the cafeteria
I
because
agree.
it's pretty awesome.
there have been many times where I've gone to the cafeteria and I've had lunch there, and that meal was better than what I had at the restaurant the night before.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, it
Yes.
is the largest restaurant
It is.
in town, right?
It really is.
Yes.
I never thought about how lucky you are to have access to all of these people who are burnt out in the restaurant industry. Well,
It's pretty great.
and then when I retire and move to Florida, like the rest of the country, right?
You're going to work for Lora? For Orange
Oh,
County?
I will follow Laura anywhere.
Good luck with that one.
Your kitchens are not only feature such great menu items, but they're also very lovely designed.
They are, and we are very fortunate to be in Orange County because we do have a sales tax that helps us build kitchens. And so it's not unusual to have 5 or 6 new schools every year. Wow. And we have worked hard on a prototype, and so, you know, we learn from the ones that are built today and we can change those, and over the years we've gotten to I think a really good prototype. But one of the things that I know from going to the restaurant show is that you can come up with all of these wonderful things to prepare things freshly. And so, you know, we got back out the kitchen knives and we bought those huge robo-coops that's kind of, you know, slices and dices and anything that the kids can imagine.
All the attachments.
Yeah. And, you know, it's pretty fun to make the recipes like the kids imagine and then show it to them. And they're like, wow, you made this? Like, this is for real from your kitchen?
What we do here.
So that's a fun part of our job.
So what is the thing you enjoy most about being a member of the Urban School of Food Alliance?
You know, I think it's the professional connections.
Okay.
I think it's absolutely learning what other people have done in their systems and in their organizations, and learning the power of, sometimes it's the USDA regulations, sometimes it's our knowledge of food, but really the things that make us stand out. So I hear them and they've got confidence, and I hear them talking about what they've been able to achieve, and I think, you know what? You can do that too. And it makes me have a straighter back and a stronger voice, and you know, I just want to be like them.
So really you guys aren't just competing with each other, you're truly working with each other to make
Yes.
each other better.
Yes.
And that is something I do love about child nutrition. Even as a whole,
Yeah.
like you guys, you're not competing. You're on the same team with the
Right.
same goal, the same mission. You want to feed kids.
Yes.
So how do I get my hands on some of those recipes?
You know, we really took a page book out of the Child Nutrition Institute, and all of our recipes that we make from scratch are on YouTube videos.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah, so if you go to our webpage, you'll see the YouTube videos, and we actually have little iPads in every kitchen and a large screen so that every staff member can see making the recipes and learn how to do it.
That
That's
is
so
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about a training for when I get back. Play. Go
Yeah.
ahead. So what are some of your favorite recipes? Tell me that.
You know, I would have to say that our Rasta chicken, our chicken legs, so we have some great sauces that go on our drumsticks. And then I would say that we've worked the hardest on salads. And so
Okay.
the salads are something that, you know, with our RoboCoops, we can slice and dice exactly. We can julienne the carrots if that's the way the kids like it. In a focus group this year, they told us they like dark green leafy vegetables. And I was like, you know
Wow.
what dark green leafy vegetables are? And they
Yep.
did. And so we're incorporating more of those.
Yep.
And so it's interesting that we want to serve fresh produce on Mondays. But obviously we're so big that we don't get our deliveries until, you know, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But when we buy the whole product, we can make it fresh on Mondays.
Yeah.
So those are some of my very favorite things that we do.
Yeah, you guys do a lot of fresh stuff because we worked on a project together where it was with Clara.
Right.
Okay.
It's a incredible space age farm, right?
It was like something on Mars. It was
Yeah.
the coolest place I've ever been.
I saw the
Yeah.
video.
Yeah.
Wow.
She was
And-
very upset that she couldn't be there with
Well,
us.
you know, the nice thing about this farm is that you can get fresh lettuce in every single school because it comes with the root ball on it. It stays living, and so it's fresh when the kids have it. Plus, it lasts longer,
Yep.
so it has a longer shelf life. So we love it.
Yeah, it was neat. It was really neat. Really neat. Well, do you have any last words, anything else you want to share about Urban School Food Alliance and your involvement with them?
I would just tell anyone to get together with their peers.
Okay.
Because it just makes you a better person. Thinking about and doing, and sometimes the confidence to go forward, just with your peers and knowing what they've been able to accomplish. It's great to be able to stand on their shoulders and do it again.
Yeah, and as of right now, you guys have how many peer districts do you have?
At 15.
15, and you guys just brought on 2 recently, right? Okay, awesome.
All right, I have one more question.
Yes.
So you have been a director for how many years now?
Almost 20.
Whew. Okay. So where do you see the future of child nutrition going?
You know, I have thought a lot about this, and so I think the resources are there so that we can feed every child, and that's one of the things that I really, really don't like to do is to turn away any child or to have them pay.
Yeah.
So I really think that that's the next big thing. And then I would say that the professionalism of the staff. So we have the most professional people behind the serving line who care about safety and sanitation, and we don't talk about that, but
True.
they are experts, and you don't
Yeah.
see that in every line that you line up to get your food. They love the children, they have the smile for the children, so I really see that being showcased as one of the best things that kids grew up with, and I think this idea of the old cafeteria is going to go away. I think they'll remember the wonderful items that they had, the salads and the fresh produce. So I would say we've got the resources as a nation to feed every child. And that's what I'm really hopeful for.
That's beautifully put, and I agree wholeheartedly.
For Lora's district, the fight against food insecurity in the community does not stop inside the cafeteria. Orange County Public Schools Food and Nutrition Services is building sustainable partnerships within the community with local charities and volunteers to rescue leftover food from the kitchens. And in doing so, they're reducing food waste. And on top of that, they are also being a contributor and a key contributor in the fight against food insecurities within their community.
So how can they get more information about OCPS and Lora Gilbert?
Well, you just go to our website, Orange County Public Schools.
I thought you were going to say Lora
Yeah.
Gilbert.
LoraGilbert.com.
No, because I'm a very small part of the organization. But people are welcome to visit anytime. In fact, the national convention is going to be in Orlando next summer, and we're
Yeah.
planning to have a pre-conference so they can come and visit a school.
And I will say, as a past pre-conference visitor, that it was extraordinarily eye-opening, and I'm sure I could go tomorrow and find a billion more things that I would love to bring home, because you guys run an incredible program.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, everybody, you have been watching Next Up with Lora Gilbert and the Urban School Food Alliance.